In this video, we're going to take a look at the Strategic Risk Assessment XL, the SRA product. Particularly, we're going to look at the Strategic Action Form tab, the SA form, but we'll go over all of the tabs so that you have a general idea of what's included in the Strategic Risk Assessment XL. So, like in any XL, all of the tabs are displayed at the bottom of your screen. And we're going to work from left to right. The very first one makes sense. It's the Instruction tab. And it goes block by block through the Strategic Action tab itself, talking about what is to be included in each box and where the information comes from to populate it. Some of them are automatic, some of them are drop-downs, and some of them are narratives that are based on the conversations that you have as part of your ISAT process. The second tab is the Terminology and Definitions tab, and this is designed to be printed easily and handed out during any of the meetings. The idea here is we want to use consistent language in the same ways, the same terminology, so that we all stay pointing in the same direction and moving forward. So this handout is really important. Please use it and please pass it out. Everything from the critical values conversations through the strategy meetings. These are really important terms. The next tab is the risk matrix. You don't often refer to this tab. It just kind of shows what's going on behind the scenes when you pick a probability and you select a severity rating, where those crosswalk on the chart that will show up within the strategic action forms. The values tab has got a couple of important things to note about. For one thing, this is the Pillar 1 data collection point. These come from the agency administrators, your host units. Not only do we need to know what it is and where it is, but the severity of impact also comes from those agency administrators. And you need to put the list of values in this tab for them to show up and be accessible in each of the Strategic Action tab dropdowns. So it's really important to populate them here, both the value itself and that severity of impact. Then the next several tabs, there's 5 different pages for you, are actually the strategic action forms that we're going to take a look at in just a minute. There's 5 of them. Don't feel like you have to use all of them. Some incidents you might use 1 or 2. Some you might use 3, 4, or even 5. Within this form, you can copy and add additional tabs if you do need them. The strategic action tabs are just there to help you throughout the life of your incident. So let's take a look at where all of the pillar information gets captured on this form. We're going to start at the top of the form, but actually Pillar 2 is captured at the top of the form. So Pillar 2 is the strategy and strategic actions. So this is the who, what, where, when, and why of the strategic action. So where is this work happening? What are they doing? What are they protecting? And the resources that it's going to take to be able to accomplish this, both the kind of resources and the number of heartbeats or personnel required, as well as what we might have available at the incident right now. The other piece of that is the duration. How long do we anticipate this work is going to take to complete? And then in box 6, which is at the bottom of your screen, you can see that it just adds a place for discussion notes so that you can elaborate a bit on what might not fit cleanly in any of those other boxes within Pillar 2. Now we're going to add the Pillar 1 information. And often, again, this will come first, but it's just captured in the second location on the form. So this comes from the agency administrators, populated on that Values tab, and you'll be able to decide by geography which strategic action it will fit into. So the value will be populated, that severity will populate based on what the agency administrators told you, and then in column 9, the probability of impact. That comes from your FS Pro runs, your FBAN, your IMET. The incident management team themselves will help populate that. The next pillar, Pillar 3, speaks of responder risk, and that's that red portion of your form. So there's actually 2 blocks that capture the information. We'll start with the risk influencers, and you can see R1, 2, 3, 4, etc. down that left-hand column for ground transportation, rapid fire growth. The severity and probability come from your subject matter experts, the folks sitting there in the strategy meetings talking about what they think the severity and probability will be. In this particular case, you can see there's no rating, no information included for R4, which is aviation operations. There was no aviation operations included in this strategic action. It just didn't apply. So they left that blank. The other important part to capture when you're talking about responder risk is the specifics behind it. So in this case, R1 refers to ground transportation, and there's just some notes about the conversation, what was discussed, what led to the ratings that were selected. And you can see, again, R5, there is no applicability there, so there was no information to include. Looking now at Pillar 4, where do we capture probability of success in the form? And it's in that upper right-hand box, and you may have heard us refer to this as the small but powerful box. It's in the upper right-hand corner of the box, but don't feel like you have to fill this in first. In fact, we recommend coming back to that box at the end after all of the robust conversation. Then you can talk about how do we feel about our probability of success, populating that box. Then just below that is another small but very helpful box called the estimated cost. This is a great way to help us understand our burn rates, framing that within WFDAs, and helping compare alternatives. Now, if you get to the point where you've got more information to capture than will fit on any strategic action tab, there is a separate tab called the Notes tab where it allows for overflow of additional notes. So this is a great tab that a lot of folks don't realize we've added in 2023. The final tab I want to mention is the Summary Export tab. And I just want to bring it into your awareness. There is a complete separate video on how to use the Summary Export tab.